Hello. So I am back, you guys. I am making this video in response to Rivera Padro. I'm sorry, I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm butchering it. I'm so sorry. But I am making a video in response to her, and I just wanted to go ahead and just talk in detail about the school schedule, okay? So here we go. So I started school back in 2017. The program that I'm in, if you guys aren't familiar, is Midwestern Career College, or that I was in Midwestern Career College. And the school course is designed for people who work, of course. And so at this school, they have night classes and or evening classes, shall I say. I believe that they have day classes, but I'm not really for sure. I just know about my schedule of what I had, which was the evening classes. So the hours in which I was required to go to school, or what the hours in which class was Sunday, 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And on Sunday I had two classes. So I had one class for like 3 hours and 30 minutes, and then I had the second class for the remaining portion of time, which was like 3 hours and 30 minutes. So Monday I had school from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. and some days it was 5:30 to 8 p.m. It depends on like what class it was or whatever. Tuesday, I had class from 5:30 p.m. to 9:30 p.m. as well. Sometimes it was 5:30 p.m. to 8 p.m., depending on what class it is. But those are my only 3 days that I had class. Now, I had that for about 15 months. About 15 months, I had that class schedule. That was it. Now, once you incorporate the clinical portion, because once you get into the fourth semester is when they'll start incorporating the clinical portion. So, depending on a couple of things, and this also answers another question that another person asked me about the clinical site. So, I was able to get my own clinical site because I work at a hospital. And the hospital that I work at, I was able to go down and communicate with the radiology department supervisor and the director of the radiology department as a whole, which are two separate people. I was able to communicate with them, and I asked them, like, hey, I work here, you know, I'm in the MRI program. Is it possible that I could please do my clinicals here? And by the grace of God, y'all, they were like, yes. And the reason why I say the grace of God is because I have a classmate who works at the sister hospital of my hospital, and they told her no. And I felt really sad for her. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really felt really sad for her because I was like, but we work under the same network. Like, you know what I'm saying? The same, you know, network. Like, why did they tell you no? Like, I felt really sad for her. And so she had to wait to be assigned a clinical site through the school. So everybody that was in there, with the exception of, I think, one other person, found, you know, had to wait to be assigned a clinical site through the school. So the school has partnerships with like Northwestern, Rush, what else do they have partnership? A lot of outpatient facilities. Like an outpatient clinical facilities or whatever. So they have some, you know, clinical sites or whatever. And so, but I can only speak for myself. So I found my own clinical site because I work there. And I set up my own hours. A lot of the students were not able to set up their own hours. Some of them were, you know, some of the clinical sites was like, look, I don't care, you know, what hours, whatever hours you want to do, whatever, I'm cool. But some of them had to go by what the clinical site set for them. So for me, I was able to pick my own hours. Now, at Midwestern Career College, you are required to do no less than 24 hours. Now, there's exceptions to the rules, you know, and I don't know them rules. But, you know, I heard a few things, you know, but I'm not going to speak on them because it's not my situation. But I will say, for me, I am required to do no less than 24 hours. So I literally go to clinicals and I schedule mine from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And that's 5 days a week. So I could choose to do 12 hours if I want to. I could choose to do 8 hours a day if I want to. I could choose to do 10 hours a day if I want to. It's all up to me and the you know, agreement or whatever I tell the clinical site, because we have that, you know, communication or that relationship where I'm able to, you know, tell them like, hey, I want to do 12 hours, or hey, you know what, I want to do 10 hours. I want to add more hours, you know, to what I am currently doing right now, and they'll be cool with it, you know. And like I said, y'all, the grace of God, seriously, like, I feel like if it wasn't for God looking out for me and providing those resources and giving me the opportunity to just walk down there, and I literally had just got hired at this hospital last year around June, and I went down there around July and just started talking to them, say, hey, how y'all doing? You know, I'm in the MRI program, and, you know, blah, blah, blah. We got to talking, and then next thing you know, I said, you know, I was wondering if, you know, if you guys wouldn't mind me doing, you know, my clinicals here, you know, and they was like, yeah. The grace of God. Like, that doesn't just happen. Just, oh, you just la la la, you know, and it just happens. No. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So basically, I have been in clinicals 5 days a week since last year of November. November 26th is when I started my clinicals. And I've been doing it, like I said, 5 days a week. I'm off on all holidays, so I don't have to go in on any holidays. That's the one good thing I love about being an MRI technologist. Even when I become, like, have a job at an actual facility, I won't have to come in on holidays like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Christmas, all that. I don't have to come in. I love that, because when I worked in the emergency room, it didn't matter what holiday. It could have been your birthday. You coming in. You working today. You know, and so I did not like that. You know, it was kind of like an A and B schedule. You know, like either this year you working the day before, or this year you working the day of. You know what I'm saying? So with MRI, you're off on all holidays. So it depends on, you know, your clinical site. It depends on that relationship that you have with them, you know, and what they say you could do, or either what you tell them that you could do, and if they agree to it. So after, like I said, that clinical started being added to it, then my schedule became Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, you know, that 9 a.m. on Sundays to 3:30 p.m. Sunday, and then Monday and Tuesday 5:30 to 9:30, to also adding me being at clinicals from 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Monday through Friday. So it made it where I had to quit. I had to resign from my ER position, because my ER position was not willing to let me go part-time. They told me, like, look, we need you full-time or that's it. So I was just like, that's how y'all gonna do me? Like, I've been at this hospital for 4.5 years. Y'all gonna do me like that? All right, well, shoot, my school is more important. You know what I'm saying? Of course, me paying my bills and stuff like that is important. Of course, me feeding myself, feeding my child, of course, that's important. But, you know, I got other avenues. You know what I'm saying? Like Uber, Lyft, Grubhub, DoorDash, Instacart, Amazon Flex. I'm like, I could just get out here and just go straight hustle mode. You know what I'm saying? So it took for me to have to put my priorities in order and say, hey, look, I got to get this schooling thing up and running, because I could choose to just stay here and be an ER tech, you know, for God knows how long, and keep making this little bitty peanuts here, you know, or I can invest my time in my education knowing that it'll be a greater outcome for me, you know, in the future. So I had to sit down and think that, you know, talk to myself about it, you know, and talk with other people, you know, other loved ones about it, to, you know, see what their thoughts were on it, you know. And at the end of the day, I'm the person who got the final say so, you know, I had to do what I had to do. So that's basically my schedule right now. I am finishing up my clinical hours, and I am at 715 clinical hours. We are required to do 1,000 hours in order to sit for the ARRT licensing exam. So I'm at 715. So I'm almost there. And yeah, that's pretty much it when it comes to my schedule. Now, I saw that you were saying that you are doing some online MRI courses, and I wish you all the best of luck. You're really going to have to sit down and really study the physics portion, the quantum physics, and just like really grasping all of that physics information, because it's a lot, and it's like learning a foreign language. You know, it's new information. Unless you have a physics background, you know, for the MRI machine, then, you know, you're good. But if you don't have a physics background, and this is like your first time learning about, you know, the MRI physics and anatomy and pathology, you really need to sit down and take some time to sit down and really study and really read and really understand, and not just study to memorize, but actually study to actually understand, like, the gist of everything and how it works and stuff, and what's this, what's that, you know, what's K-space, okay? How is K-space field? What is a T2 image? What is a T1 image? You know, what type of pathology is this? Okay, I see it has this consistency, this hypertension, hyper intense area here. Like, okay, I remember that this means this, or blah blah blah. Like, you gotta really sit down and really, you know your stuff. So if I could give you any pointers, the most of what you need to know, just the basics, your anatomy is, to me, number one. You got to know your anatomy. If you don't know your anatomy, you have already failed yourself. You have to know your anatomy, and I mean in detail. I'm not talking about arm, leg, toes, fingers, head, back of the head, front of the head. I'm talking about in detail. IACs, cochlear. I've explained all this on a previous video I've done, but you have to, like, know your anatomy to the T. If you don't know your anatomy, you've already lost the half of the battle. You know what I'm saying? That anatomy is crucial. So to me, anatomy is first thing. The second thing is the physics. Physics, I would say anatomy and physics should be at number one. The third thing is your positioning. You have to know how to position the patient. You got to learn that. Positioning the patient and using the correct coil is crucial as well. So you have to know that. You have to make sure that you learn that. You watch videos. There's a lot of YouTube videos that provide a lot of information on, you know, positioning and, you know, that types of stuff, like anatomy as well. There's apps that also help aid in, you know, knowing your anatomy and different things like that. I can definitely give you some resources that I have for apps and stuff that help me get through, you know, my anatomy classes and stuff, and physics and different things like that. I can give you some websites or whatever, but you definitely got to be on top of it, because it is going to be challenging, but you can get through it. You could definitely get through it. So, what else? That's the only thing I can say, is it takes a lot of time and dedication, you know. In clinicals now, you know, I'm almost at the end. The tech, which is the supervisor as well, and then the other techs, they have me scanning every patient. Like, literally, I'm scanning every patient. I'm positioning every patient. I'm, you know, doing the questionnaire. I'm, you know, advising them or telling them to, you know, what to get undressed and what to put up in a locker. And I'm, you know, doing the whole procedure or process where you make sure they don't have any metals or anything on their person. You know, I'm doing all of that. I'm putting in the paperwork, scanning it, you know, sending over the images to PACS, you know, speaking with the radiologists about, you know, maybe they didn't receive the information through PAX, or maybe they want you to do this, change that, whatever. Like, I'm literally doing all of that, calling the patients in from registration. Like, y'all, I feel like I'm an actual tech. That's exactly how I feel. Like, I'm a tech. I'm just not getting paid. If I was to get paid for the amount of hours and work that I do, man, it'd be lovely. It would be lovely. But I am not. This is an externship, and this is solely for the purpose of experience, and also for me to get the understanding of how to prescribe the slices, and how to deal with just everything in the MRI area. So it's been a very interesting ride for me. I've learned so much, and I can say for me the most difficult thing is I'm the type of person, I gotta double look at it. Let me just make sure I got it. And the technologist, he has me cracking up laughing. He's like, Tanya, you know this already. Why are you, steady going back and forth with yourself? Come on, click. He cracks me up. He says if he had a zapper, he would zap me every time that I keep like second guessing myself. He was like, as soon as he see me, he would be like, zzz, zzz, like, keep going, stop. It was so funny, like the stuff that he be saying. But it's encouraging, and it's also uplifting to pretty much let me know that I'm doing good. And for the first time today, and not saying that I don't do a good job, but he told me, good job, Tanya, you did an excellent job today. And I was like, okay. I was happy to hear that. But anyways, so if you all have any more questions, feel free to ask. I will definitely answer them and make more videos for you all. And I have my grades, so I will be doing a video about my classes that I had to take for the program, so you guys can see in detail. I hope this video has been helpful. If you got any questions, put them below and I will answer. Bye.